Good morning. Today I'll be talking about the book The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. So imagine you won a lottery worth 10 crores. What will you do with that money? Yes. 10 crores, bro.
1 crores. Half I'll invest in something,
Okay.
and half I'll use for my give to my parents for the family purpose and for my higher studies.
Okay.
Maybe okay, 25% I'll save it for myself. The remaining I will half of it I will invest somewhere, and the remaining half I will buy lands or liabilities or maybe gold something I can get profit from. I will do like that.
Very much investing. What about it, Pradeep?
Investment, all money.
Don't want to for yourself.
No.
Yeah, good. Okay, what about you?
I don't know actually about investing.
Mm.
So it's better to buy golds because it is increasing day by
Gold is
day.
increasing.
And like making one home, good home for us, and traveling to so many places.
Meera?
I think I travel to so many places and invest to something. Travel, then invest.
Travel, of course, and also making my really good life in house proper, like the things, and also investment.
Okay, so many of you have said about investment. So saving is of course the right answer. But you know that money, when we get money in our hand, we'll get a feeling that is of excitement, pride, fear of missing out. So even if we try to save, one emotional day can blow it out. So that's exactly what this book points out. That is, money is not logical; it is emotional. So we can imagine about the situation in the hostel when we get our money, pocket money. In the first 2 weeks of our hostel life, we will be like, we are so rich. We will become Swiggy, we will order, then we'll go for cafe and then travel. But as days passes, what will you do? Yeah, best food will taste better, no? And then we will be like, it's not that bad also. We will start skipping our coffee also in RFC or Milma. So this is what Morgan tells that doing well with money has a little to do how smart you are. It is about our behavior. So to prove this, he tells a tale. He tells a tale of two men. So the first man, he is a tech executive. He has a patents worth million crores and he has a high fancy education on. But he is greedy. He constantly shows us his money to everyone and wants to show that I am rich. So to show this, he throws gold coins into Pacific Ocean and laughs about it. Yeah, crazy. What do you think might have happened to his money?
Definitely.
He broke out. He left all his money and he became poor. So, but the second man, he was a building caretaker. He didn't have any fancy car or income, anything, but he used to invest a small amount every month for decades even. When he died, he had a net worth of 8 million and he invested and he gave it to charity. So that's how emotions mess with money. So the author talks about this luck and risk. So what do you think about luck and risk?
I can control both.
What is luck?
Can control it.
You can't control it. Correct. And risk,
You can control it.
you can control it. Risk is what we take willingly. We know that we will be missing. There is chances of we having a failure. We will face failure, but we still do it. So here Morgan says something very special, which I really liked about that book. Is nothing is good or bad as it seems. Correct? No. We will be overthinking about things, but it is nothing is that bad or nothing is that great also. So, uh, so we can take an example of luck and risk. What about our exams we can take? So there are many of us will study last moment. Maybe we'll study only 2 chapters. Okay, but there is a person who studies from constantly for 1 week and all, but she skips that 2 chapter. So what will happen? The question paper came from 2 chapters. We were able to write, but that person was not able to write. So what is was as it like we were intelligent or it was our luck?
Like only.
So that's how luck pays with our life. So even but people always give credit to like efforts matters and everything. But and when we get a failure, we will blame our bad luck. So it's not like that. In our life, we have luck and risk, which plays an invisible role, but still it is there. So when we forget that, when we say that a person became richer, like suddenly he became rich, we'll say that he is smarter. It's not like that. Or a person when he become poor, it is not because he is foolish. Maybe he took the same risk but got a different outcome. So that's how luck and risk play with the life. So when even if we plan everything and do everything properly, but still we miss out these things. So that's when then we start measuring our life with efforts. We say that because we got everything in our life because of our efforts, and we didn't get some things because we didn't put that much effort. That's when we will feel that dissatisfaction in life. So that dissatisfaction will make us feel like whatever we have, we are not satisfied. When we achieve something, we will like, even before celebrating it, we will be thinking like, this our mind will be constantly chasing something else. In our life, we are always chasing something. It can be like when we bought a bike, we want a new car. We bought a phone. Next week, a new Ultra Pro Max version of that phone comes, and we're like, our phone is not that great. So that's how life works. That's how human mind works. So in this context, what do you think money have to do with it?
This situation.
Mm. Like,
Money is the one which make us to buy those things.
yeah, we are not satisfied with our money.
Money.
Never enough. That is called never enough. We will not. The Morgan says that the highest financial skill is knowing when to enough. To stop moving off your goalpost. We'll be chasing something in life. Every time we are chasing, our goalposts keep changing. But in that race, we actually forget what is important in our life. We miss out things that are truly valuable to us. Maybe our time, or spending time with our loved ones, peace, or health. But in this race, does this race actually is needed?
Yes.
Needed? When it costs your health, peace,
No.
is it needed?
That time is not needed.
Otherwise, it is fine. Of course, it will push us forward. But it becomes worse when we try to compare ourselves with others. Okay? We compare ourselves. When we see a person who is intelligent or a stranger in Instagram, we'll start comparing. We'll compare our chapter 1 to their chapter 20. And we'll think like, they have a great life. We don't. So, let's say, Meera is quite obsessed with cars, no? Yeah? Luxury car. So, imagine you're going on a road, you say your favorite car maybe Lamborghini. Okay, he is riding. One person is riding a car. What is the first thought it will come in your mind?
Oh, the person who is driving my car.
No, he is riding his car.
His car.
Ah.
Okay.
So, you saw this. What is the first thought that will come in
I
your mind?
want to buy.
Buy it. Will you think that this person is so successful? No, we will be imagining ourselves in that position. That's what we do every time. So every time we see a person or we want to show off our money, we should think that everyone else is imagining themselves in their place. That is how that's when never enough will come. So the important financial thing is that we should know when to limit. We should know when to be enough, what we want. We should be able to define what we want in our life. So next, it comes the important other section, that is compounding. Have you heard about compounding? Yes, Gautam, have you heard about compounding? No.
Compounding interest and
Yeah, okay. So for those who doesn't know, we can imagine it as a snowball, which is coming down the hill. As it moves down, it becomes bigger. That's how finance works. So we are investing a small amount, and as time passes, it will be bigger. So we all know Bernard Punnett, he is one of the richest person, and he became. Many people doesn't know that he became rich after 50 years. It's not that after 50 he became suddenly smart. He has been investing for years, and then the patience and time played its role. Even in case of cricket, yes, Pradeep, ODI, One Day International. You think from the first ball we had to hit 6? What do we had to do?
Just be on pitch.
Consistency matters. So that's what with money we had to do. Consistency matters. We have to be there, and then when we give time for consistency, it will say the magic. The magic will be coming out, and we will be rich. Then another thing which contribute to this magic is room for error. What do you think it is? Room for error.
Errors can happen at any time.
Yeah, there are so many travelers here, no? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What is your next destination? You want to go? You told you had to travel.
Varanasi.
Okay, you're going, say for train, you're going. Okay. In the way, the train you missed out the train, you will stop your journey. What will you do? Next train. That is always have a plan B in life. It's not about, in terms of finance, when we say, it is about the emergency fund we have in our life. Not investing everything we have, we should keep a savings. So that, because everything will not go according to our imagination. There will be something happening in life. That's life. So when we keep a room for error, we can survive. Well, the writer says, when there is no room for error, there is no survival. So in case of career also, we will do that. Like if we are not getting that, we'll have a plan B, so that it will not break. That sudden failure will not break us. So we're like, okay, we can do the next thing. So that's how room for error, compounding, everything plays with money. So now the important question: why do you want money?
Better life.
For better life. Yes, Sri? Yeah. What is the biggest form of wealth you can get from money?
I have to buy a new house.
Okay. What is power? Power. Okay. Money gives you power. Okay. Pradeep?
Basic need. Money is basic.
Basic need. Yeah. Any other answer?
Food.
Good food.
Food,
But
shelter,
actually,
everything we
what is
need.
it contributing? Yeah?
Food, shelter, everything. For everything we need money.
Money.
Yeah.
The ultimate aim is food, shelter only. Okay. The biggest form of wealth that money can buy us is getting up every day morning and saying, I can do whatever I want. What is that? It's freedom. The biggest form of money, wealth we can get from money is freedom. We don't want to work under pressure. We want to work in peace. We have to take day off without feeling guilty. No. And that money gives us that power to do whatever we want. We want to buy, say, if somebody says they want to go out or something, we have that dress in our bucket list. Like we have to buy when we have money. And my dream is that one day I will go to Shoprix and something. I will buy things which I looked at the price tag and didn't buy. That's the greatest form of freedom you will get. So this freedom will give us that control over our time. And as I said, this when money, you told money will give us power. So that power we should use it in a right manner. So because nobody will remember the way how much money we had. They will remember the way we treated us, how we made them feel when they were with us. So that's how money messes with this. And this book is actually not about how we will become rich or how we should become rich. It's about ourselves, understanding ourselves, so that we can deal with money properly. We should understand our fear, what we actually want from life, then we can use the money properly. That's it. Thank you.